Hey guys, my name is Fabe and welcome back to episode 106 on the TimeShot server. 106 episodes. That's ridiculous, but that's besides the point. Last time, you all saw the time lapse. I really hope you did see it. If you didn't, go back there immediately, but I want to thank you all for your amazing feedback on that. I got like 100 likes. Which is way more, which is almost double what I usually get, and that even with half the views I usually get. Well, not quite, but about that. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy amount of support. I want to thank you guys for that. And there's still a lot of work to be done with this place because it's completely hollow and ugly and mob infested in the inside. I haven't removed the beacons yet. I think I want to keep at least one beacon here because I kind of like the effect on it. I'm not going to keep all 5 beacons here. I need them back at my base. I was already missing them when I was back there grabbing some resources. But yeah, a lot of work has to be done. And of course, as the name of the tower states, Tower of Donations is here to put a monument to all the people that donated to me in the past and to all my patrons especially. And I think I'm not gonna... Well, what you usually see is that... Let me work while talking, okay? I need to get rid of these stairs here because I don't really like them. So what you usually see, for example, in Poet's Place and what other YouTubers do usually too is they give a certain valuable block to people who donate. I think I want to do it a little differently. I want to have different layers of this tower here. So we have 4 layers and the base. And those are probably gonna be like 4 different tiers of donations. So on the top, there are only people who donated a certain amount, and then 1 level lower, there are other people that donate a little less, but still a lot, and so on and so forth. I'm not quite sure if I really should put the exact, the amount of what people donated up there. I don't know if everyone wants that to be known, or if I just want to give the area. Let me know what you guys think about that. Especially the people who donated in the past. Because some people have donated quite a lot. Yeah, that's just how much I'm gonna say right now. Of course I'm gonna honor those guys up in this tower sooner or later. As well, of course, for my patrons. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the patrons like in the base. Because they are the base of all donations I get, because they pledge every single month. And don't you dare blowing up my beautiful tower. And they are basically the basement on which I can build up on. So I think it's kind of nice and symbolic if I do something like that. But yeah, your feedback is welcome. As I mentioned, especially of the people who donated. But today, I want to talk a little bit about time lapses. I mean, it's kind of a good occasion to talk about that, I suppose. But time lapses in general, how you do them, what the problems are, and why they are so epic, I think. That's what I want to cover today a little bit. And I especially want to talk about all the trouble I had with this one. Because it turned out not nearly as nice as I wanted it to be. I know for you people, you've seen it, you thought it was epic. And I can see that. It's still pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, I'm proud of that. However, I think I could have done it way better. I could have done it way better with a little more preparation. And a little more patience maybe even. But I was kind of under time pressure because I was leaving for the weekend and I wanted to get it done. So you guys can finally see this beautiful building that I had in my creative world for months. And I think it turned out nicely in the end. But yeah, the time lapse itself, I had some trouble. So I mentioned it at the end of last video. What I planned on doing initially, I have a camera account. And this camera account is just an old account from a friend of mine who doesn't play Minecraft anymore. An old real-life friend. I used to play with him back in the days. I actually even recorded one of my first videos together with him. I don't know if you saw it. It's probably not. I don't think any one of you guys saw it. It was like I think one of my first 10 or 20 videos. So a really, really early video. Now I have over 1,000. So really early video I did with him. About TNT cannons on Race for Wool maps. Oh man, that was a nice time. But yeah, he doesn't really play Minecraft as often, so I borrow his account every now and then whenever I need it. And Poet whitelisted it and set it to spectator mode on the server, so I cannot interact with any blocks whatsoever. So I cannot cheat or do anything with that account. I can just fly around, and I'm still invisible to people, so people can't even see the account because it's in spectator mode. And I don't use it regularly. That's the second time I used it. The first time I used it was actually, I don't think I ever talked about that, but the first time I used it was for the pirate flag. If you remember, I did a time lapse for that too back in the days when we had our pirate stuff going on. And that's when I used the account for the first time. And this is the second time I logged on to the server, basically. So I don't use it very often. I might do it more often because I really, really like to get more into time-lapse, but I think I want to talk a little bit more about that later. But yeah, I had him. Oh yeah, and the mod I used the client-sided mod called Camera Studio, and this mod is amazing. I also used that for all the cinematics I did. For example, for the Survival Inc. episode 100. And for the slime farm tutorial even, I used the Camera Studio mod too. It's a really nice mod. It's client-sided, so I can use it on the server without the server being modded or anything. And it basically controls my player, I guess, in a certain manner. So I can tell him, okay, you move from this point to this point, and it will take 10 minutes. And then he just moves really, really slowly within 10 minutes. And really smooth, of course, to this other position. And this is all this mod does, and it does it awesome. So what I did, I set a few points around the tower, and I told them that the whole path should take 2 hours. And in the meantime, I started building while this guy was slowly traveling around. That's how I got the movement. And I think I really love the movement time lapses. It's the first time I actually tried that. Before, I did a few survival time lapses before, but I never had access to the mod, so it always was stationary perspectives of the time lapse, and I love the movement. It gives it a whole other dimension almost, and it makes it feel so awesome. Like if your player moves around to build, and you basically build always right in front of the camera. That's another thing that I wanted to do, but I kind of failed at it. Several reasons. First reason is he's in spectator mode. I can't see where the player is, where my camera account is while I'm building. So I always have to look at his screen that actually records. And there is a way to run 2 clients of Minecraft on one PC. I think most of you figured that out. So I had 2 clients running, both logged into the TimeShot server. I have only 2 screens, and on my right screen I had the screenshots up of what I was gonna build here. Of course, I need the screenshots up so I know where to place the blocks and not mess up all the time. I mean, I cannot memorize this whole building by heart. Look at that. There are so many details involved. I'd had to have screenshots up. At least for the beginning. Once the repetitive part came, I was able to do it mostly without it. However, what I had to do is I had to run the second client basically behind the window of my active client that I was building at. And that caused several issues. The first issue, as I mentioned, was that I couldn't really see what I could see from the camera point of view at any given time, because it was partially covered up by my other client window. And so I couldn't really tell where I was respective to the camera. So I wasn't sure if I was in shot or if I was out of shot already. And that caused some issues. And sometimes it seems like nothing happens because I was actually working on stuff that wasn't visible on camera, which is a little unfortunate. It seems a little boring when there are parts where nothing happens in a time lapse, and I try to avoid that as much as possible. But yeah, there were a few points in the time lapse that I was really unhappy with. Second problem, and that is a major problem that I only noticed after I was completely done, and oh man, I cursed. I was so frustrated with this effect. I don't know if you saw it, but if you watched closely, you probably did see it. You were able to see the cursor, my mouse cursor, every now and then swooping across the screen. Really fast, of course, since it is sped up. but you were able to see it in the time lapse. And I was furious at this mistake, because what happened is, whenever I was in my inventory, you can see my cursor running around here. And I had my, okay, let's say this whole window right now is my screen. I play usually in 720p windowed mode. I had my active client in the bottom left, here, I was playing a building, and I had my camera account in the top right. So I had the most space I could actually see what the camera is seeing. However, there was a pretty big part that overlapped, and whenever I was with my mouse cursor in the upper right corner of the client, you were able to see it in the camera client on the bottom left. And that annoyed me so much. I mean, if I would have known that, I could just disable like cursor in Fraps, or I could have maybe put it on my other screen behind the screenshots, the client, or anything like that. I could have done so many things to avoid that. But if I only noticed that after already building for 6 hours plus, no way. No way I'm gonna tear this thing down and do it all over again just because the mouse cursor is visible. So that was one thing that really frustrated me. There was another thing. At one point, you might have noticed that the camera suddenly stopped moving. And it was a still camera. And that wasn't on purpose. It was, let me see. I don't remember quite why, but I had to pause for a bit because I had some, I don't know what I had to do, but I had to do something. And so I paused the camera mod, and there is a resume. So if I pause the camera account and then press resume, it should move on. For whatever reason, it didn't do that though. And if it moves so slowly, you can't tell. You can't tell with your eye if it's moving or not unless you are staring at it for a couple of minutes to verify that it's actually moving. So I thought it was moving, but it wasn't. And that's why there's a certain part in the video that's just still, where the camera account didn't move. And that's also why this clip isn't exactly the same length like the first one. I set it to be 2 hours again, but I noticed after a while that it wasn't moving at all. And so I reset the camera and put a new path in and redid this whole thing. But yeah, there's this little part where the camera doesn't move. And during this part, there's also like a few frames where you can actually see the chat where I was trying to fix things. And I forgot to cut it out eventually. I think someone in the comments even pointed it out. Yeah. As you see, there's a lot of stuff you have to be very careful about doing these time lapses. Since they are so much work, you can't really redo them that easily. And since I was under time pressure and it was the first time I actually did the moving camera thing, I didn't have the experience, so I messed it up quite badly. I really was hoping for a much better result. And I also had something else planned. I had planned to make the camera speed, like the speed of the movement of the camera, make it fit the music. That was also something I really wanted to do. But after the few mistakes that I already noticed, I was so frustrated with it that I didn't want to put in more time already, since I was under a time constraint too. And, okay, let me quickly, I think I'm gonna put slabs everywhere in here. I don't want to use more quartz because I don't want to hunt it down. I think slabs will do nice. Maybe we can come up with a nice pattern later. But for now, I want to have a solid slab pattern in here, slab floor in here. Where was I now? Oh yeah. And also my editing program, or any editing program for that matter. I don't know, it's probably my PC too. But when you import like several hours of footage and then speed it up to 2000 times the speed, the editing program is, yeah, it's gonna have some issues. Because the files were like several hundred gigabytes big, and it's just impossible to play back these videos and to have a preview of your footage. And how in the hell am I supposed to sync up the video to the music if I can't even watch it? If I can't even have a preview? So I would have to render it every time out for several hours to check it and then adjust it and so on. Man, we're gonna have some trouble getting the walls on the inside figured out too. I'm not gonna worry about that yet too much. We still have lots of slabs to lie down. Yeah, problems over problems and more problems, as you see. You might not have seen it, but I really feel like I need to talk about that stuff. So in case you guys should ever try to do a time lapse, you know what things you have to be very careful about. And I want to do more time lapses in the future. I really, really enjoy them. I enjoy them so much. Well, the result, the making of them, I got actually... I don't know if I can... Yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys. I got really, really nervous before starting to record this. In theory, I could have done it weeks ago. I'm gonna be honest, I could have done it weeks ago, but whenever I thought about it, I got really anxious. I didn't want to make any mistakes. I wanted it to be perfect. And hence I procrastinated a lot and thought, I can do it next week. I can do it next week. But yeah, I finally decided to do it, and yep, I messed up. I made a ton of mistakes, just as I feared. But now it's done, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy that it's done. And I learned a lot from it, of course, and I will do way better in the next one. I haven't anything planned quite yet, but I just love time lapses. Time lapses are the thing that got me into YouTube in the first place. For the guys who didn't know, I was watching a lot of the old school Fire UK time lapses they did back in the days, and they really got me into building and into time lapses. And into approaching Nirvana too. So Fire UK pretty much influenced a lot of my taste when it comes to Minecraft and even music. But yeah, this is where my history with time-lapse began. And ever since then, I wanted to do them. And I tried a couple of times in the past to do simple time-lapses. It's hard to do on your own. I know Fire UK had like a whole team of 20 to 50 people who were working on these things. And they made just these amazing, amazing videos. Not so much lately, but back in the days. Yeah, that was my inspiration for time lapses always, and for building as well. So thanks to those guys, I suppose. They deserve it. Gotta get rid of a lot of this iron. Later. Hashtag later. Okay. And yeah, maybe, I don't know, once I'm done with my underground base, maybe I'm gonna start like a city type build. Similar to what Win is doing out there in her medieval area. And if I should do so, I will make sure that I will do a lot of time lapses again. Because it's really cool. At several points I also thought about doing like time lapses in creative mode. But it's so much work, and it's so hard to do it all on your own. And especially, I don't like taking my creativity away from my actual survival let's plays. I like to focus my creativity on here and don't waste it on creative builds that you're never gonna walk around in. That's my most criticism towards creative mode in general. It's just the way, I mean, of course, it's easier to build and you could build more epic things, but you never get a feeling like this. When in creative mode, tell me guys, when would you just go down on the floor and walk in your building? When do you not fly in creative? When do you enjoy the view and the epicness of a scale in creative mode? You don't. You build a building and then you move on to the next one. You can't actually use them in creative mode. And that's why I prefer building and survival that much more. It's just, okay, it's more work, I can see that, but you spend infinitely more time in these buildings actually. And look at them. That's what I have to say about creative mode. I mean, of course, creative mode is very useful, and I use it for planning, as I said, for example, for this build here. But overall, in the end, everything for me comes down to survival mode. Yeah, that's, I think, everything I had to talk about concerning time lapses, I believe. I didn't make a list or anything. So I'm kind of I should mention that, by the way. I'm trying to do more of the do and talk episodes for right now because I'm very restricted on time due to my exams coming up in April, and I should spend most of my time studying. So in the future, in the next couple of weeks, there will not be as much progress. I will probably keep working on this building and just talk to you guys about different topics. So if you guys have any topics you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. I have a few that I want to talk about. I'm not sure if every single topic will take like 20-30 minutes to talk about. So there might also be some shorter episodes. But it's either that or only one TimeShot episode a week probably. That's the choice I have to make. And I wanted to try out doing more of these talky episodes because I see Poet doing them all the time and I really enjoy listening to Poet ramble. He has always some nice topics and some nice points of view about the things he talks, so I really enjoy watching those. And I thought maybe, but only maybe, I can improve on talking about cool stuff myself a little bit. But yeah, I don't know how long I've been rambling about. Probably not a whole 20 minutes. But as I mentioned, I'm gonna call it a day for today. Quick promotion. Quick self-promotion here. If you haven't checked out Ori and the Blind Forest, guys, go check it out. It's the most beautiful game I have ever played. It is amazing. If you haven't checked it out, check at least one of the episodes out to see. Even if you don't watch all of it, you need to have seen this game. That's really what I believe. It is just so gorgeous and I love playing it. I can't stop playing it. I think right now I'm having daily episodes of it because I don't stop playing it. And I'm not even mad about that. I don't even regret it is what I want to say. I love doing those. So do me a favor and check them out. But anyways, once again, thank you all so much for your support. And once we got our layers done here, we need to think about what to do to get up and down. I mean, I already played around with slime block elevators quite a bit lately. So I'm not sure if I want to have another one in here. And I also think it would be a little out of character, wouldn't it? Such an old school epic build and then a stupid slime elevator in here. So I'm probably gonna go with some sort of a spiral staircase design, just because it would feel way more epic. And as I mentioned, the base floor is probably gonna be my Patreon floor. Then we're gonna have, I don't know, donations up to $50, then 50 to 100. I don't know, that's just random numbers that I say right now. Then 100 to a 200, and then 200 and above or something like that. So it's really going to be hard to get all the way to the top. But that's the rough plan I have. Maybe we can do something with the 8 towers that we have too. Oh yeah. It's kind of hard for me because I have this video ready, the vlog that I recorded on the weekend, and it has been processing by YouTube for over 24 hours now. So you might have heard it from other YouTubers, but YouTube right now is pretty broken. It has some real issues uploading and processing videos. It takes just way too long, and I don't know why that is. I hope they are working on it. But my vlog has been processing for over 27 hours, I think, as I'm recording this. So there's that. But by the time you will see this video, it definitely will be out. I'll make sure. And I talked about the Pokemon plan a bit. And of course, if you donate towards the Pokemon plan, you'll also get a nice place in the Donut Tower. Just wanted to make sure you guys know that, because I'm pretty sure I didn't mention it in my vlog. But yeah, that's about it. Not much progress today. Lots of slabbing, lots of talking. Hope you guys enjoyed it anyways. And yeah, make sure to let me know some topics I can talk about in the future. I really appreciate that. But other than that, that's gonna be it for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I don't know how many times I said that already. But I'll see you guys next time. And seriously, don't be daft. Play some Minecraft.